It was a peaceful morning. The city moved exactly as it always did. Shops opened their doors. Cars slowly filled the streets. Children laughed as they played in the parks. People rushed to work, drank their morning coffee, and worried about ordinary problems. No one knew that before the day ended, the world would never be the same again. The first sign was the sound. A deep, unfamiliar hum spread across the sky. It wasn't thunder. It wasn't an aircraft. It was something completely unknown. People stopped in the streets, looking upward in confusion. Some searched for the source. Others pulled out their phones. Then the clouds began to move. Something enormous descended from above. A massive shimmering object appeared in the sky, slowly lowering toward the city. Its surface reflected colors that had no name in any human language. It wasn't metal. It wasn't glass. It looked like something alive. The crowd below went silent. For a moment, nobody moved. Then panic began. People screamed. Families grabbed their children and ran. Cars stopped in the middle of the streets as drivers abandoned them to escape. Others remained frozen, unable to look away from the impossible sight above them. Millions of cameras captured the moment. The unknown object floated above the center of the city, surrounded by a strange energy that distorted the air around it. When it finally touched the ground, something even stranger happened. The streets around it became sealed. An invisible barrier appeared, trapping the area and preventing anyone from approaching. But the object was not like the spaceships from human stories. It had no obvious engines, no weapons, no mechanical parts. The entire structure seemed to breathe. Its surface slowly pulsed, like a heartbeat. Then an opening formed. A figure stepped out. The crowd fell silent. She was tall and elegant, unlike any creature humanity had ever seen. Her skin shimmered with shades of silver and violet, reflecting the light like a living crystal. Her glowing eyes scanned the people around her, as if she could see beyond their faces and into their thoughts. She walked forward with calm confidence. Every step she took caused the ground beneath her feet to shimmer slightly. She did not look like an invader. She did not look afraid. She looked like someone who had traveled across the universe for a reason. And then, in front of billions of watching humans, the first visitor from another world spoke. People were terrified, but they could not take their eyes off her. She was the alien queen, and her presence alone commanded attention. A large crowd had gathered by the time she spoke. Her voice was calm yet powerful, echoing across the streets without needing a sound system. "I have come to your world," she said, "to find a companion worthy of my life and my trust. I will hold a challenge, and through this challenge, I will see who among you is suitable." Her words caused a mixture of fear and curiosity. People whispered among themselves, what kind of challenge would this be? Could anyone survive it? And what did she truly want from humans? Alex, a young man in his late 20s, was walking near the city center when the crowd formed. Unlike many others, he did not have a plan to run or hide. Instead, he felt a strange pull, a curiosity he could not resist. He had always believed that life was about facing challenges and learning from experiences, even if they seemed impossible. When he heard about the alien queen's challenge, something inside him sparked. He did not know why, but he felt he had to try. The queen explained that the challenge would test more than strength or intelligence. "I seek qualities that cannot be measured by machines or numbers," she said. "I seek understanding, courage, and heart. Those who participate must show who they truly are." People murmured in confusion. How could someone test heart? How could anyone prepare for something like this? Yet Alex felt a quiet confidence. He did not have wealth, fame, or extraordinary abilities, but he had learned from his life that kindness, honesty, and courage often mattered more than anything else. The first announcement was simple yet intimidating. Anyone who wanted to participate must step forward. Some people ran in excitement, hoping to gain fame or riches. Others hesitated, unsure if this was a trap or a dream. Alex felt a mix of fear and anticipation, but he took a deep breath and stepped forward. Immediately, the crowd's attention shifted to him. People whispered, surprised that an ordinary man would volunteer. Some laughed quietly, assuming he was foolish, but Alex did not notice. His focus was on the Queen and the opportunity to take part in something extraordinary. The Queen's eyes seemed to study Alex deeply. There was no mockery in her gaze, only curiosity. "You may join," she said simply. Her voice carried a weight that made everyone stop talking. The other participants were a mix of humans from different walks of life. Scientists, athletes, adventurers, and people who had a desire to become famous. Each looked at Alex with doubt. How could he, an average man with no special training or extraordinary talent, stand a chance against them? As the challenge preparations began, Alex observed the alien queen closely. He noticed small details others overlooked, the way her fingers moved lightly in the air, the tiny shifts in her expression when she spoke, the silent power in the way she stood. She seemed otherworldly, yet there was something human in the way she observed the world. Alex thought that maybe this challenge was not just about testing humans. It was also about revealing something deeper within the Queen herself. Over the next few hours, the city became a mix of excitement and fear. The Queen's presence had changed the world temporarily. News reports spread quickly, showing her figure descending from the sky. Social media exploded with reactions, theories, and videos of the strange events. Experts debated whether this was a diplomatic visit, a cosmic experiment, or a threat. But amid all the chaos, Alex quietly prepared himself. He did not have gadgets or special skills, but he had determination, patience, and the ability to observe and think clearly, qualities he believed would be more useful than any tool. When the first challenge was announced, it involved entering a large arena that had appeared magically in the city park. The arena's walls shimmered with energy, and participants had no way to predict what awaited them inside. The Queen explained, "You will face tasks that will show who you truly are. Some may test your mind, others your courage, and others your heart. Only those who remain true to themselves will succeed." The crowd gasped. Alex felt his heartbeat rise, but he also felt strangely calm. He knew that this was the beginning of something that could change his life forever. Before the first step, Alex took a moment to reflect. He thought of his family, his friends, and the ordinary life he had lived so far. He realized that he could not control what would happen, but he could control how he faced it. Courage, honesty, and patience would be his guide. With one last deep breath, he stepped forward into the arena, ready to face the unknown. The alien queen watched silently, her glowing eyes fixed on him, as if she could already sense that this human was different from the rest. The crowd held its breath. In that moment, the city seemed to pause, caught between fear and wonder. A single human had dared to step into a challenge that none could imagine surviving. And unknown to everyone, including Alex, this simple act of bravery was the first step in a journey that would astonish the world and even shock the alien queen herself. The arena was unlike anything Alex had ever seen. Its walls shimmered with soft, moving colors, creating the feeling of walking inside a living painting. The ground beneath his feet was firm, yet it seemed to hum slightly, as if responding to every step he took. Other participants had entered before him, and they moved cautiously, their eyes wide with a mix of fear and curiosity. Some whispered to each other, trying to figure out what to expect, while others glanced nervously at the alien queen, who hovered above the arena in her glowing presence. Alex's first impression was that the challenges would not be physical, but mental and emotional. The alien queen had said she wanted to test courage, understanding, and heart. He realized that brute strength or clever tricks would not guarantee success. Observing the other participants, he noticed some were trying to impress the queen with flashy displays of skill, while others seemed afraid to move at all. Alex quietly reminded himself that he would need patience and calm, paying attention to the tasks without rushing. The first task appeared suddenly. A large holographic image of a complex labyrinth materialized in the center of the arena. Participants were instructed that they had to navigate through it, but there was a catch. The labyrinth was constantly changing. Paths shifted, walls moved, and illusions appeared to confuse them. Many participants began running immediately, trying to find the shortest path. Their frustration grew as they faced dead ends and traps. Some began to argue, blaming each other or yelling at the illusions. Alex, however, took a deep breath and studied the labyrinth carefully. He noticed subtle patterns in the movements of the walls. Instead of rushing, he waited for the right moments, moving steadily and observing every change. He realized that the challenge was not about speed, but about understanding the rules and thinking ahead. When other participants ran into traps, Alex calmly avoided them, using patience and logic to progress. His approach drew quiet attention from the alien queen, whose glowing eyes followed him closely. After hours of careful navigation, Alex reached the center of the labyrinth. He was not the fastest, but he was the first to reach the goal without triggering any illusions or mistakes. Other participants arrived later, some exhausted and frustrated. The queen appeared before Alex, her presence both majestic and intimidating. "You approach challenges differently from others," she said, her voice carrying warmth alongside authority. "You do not rush, you observe, you understand. This is a quality rare among your kind." Alex felt a mixture of pride and humility. He knew the challenges would only grow harder, but this small acknowledgement gave him confidence. The second task began almost immediately. This one tested courage. A wide chasm opened in the arena, with a series of narrow floating platforms stretching across it. Participants were told they had to reach the other side without falling. The platforms moved slightly, making the path unstable, and an invisible force created illusions that made the gap appear wider than it really was. Many participants froze, afraid of the fall. Some hesitated too long and had to retreat. The crowd watching from outside the arena gasped as participants struggled. Alex approached the first platform carefully. He focused on the rhythm of the movements, timing his steps precisely. Fear tried to creep into his mind, but he pushed it aside, focusing on each step rather than the vast chasm below. Slowly, steadily, he made his way across. When he reached the other side, a faint glow surrounded him, a sign from the alien queen, acknowledging his courage. The other participants arrived later, some barely making it across, their faces pale with fear. Alex's calm determination had set him apart again. The third task tested understanding and empathy. Participants were brought to a chamber filled with holographic figures, each showing signs of distress or confusion. The queen explained that these figures represented real emotions and experiences. The participants had to identify what each figure needed and help them in the best way possible. Many people struggled trying to solve the task with logic alone or guessing without truly observing. Their actions often caused confusion or frustration among the figures. Alex paused, closing his eyes briefly to focus. He remembered how the queen had said she wanted to see heart, courage, and understanding. He observed the figures carefully, noticing subtle expressions, gestures, and sounds. Instead of rushing to act, he listened to the emotions and responded thoughtfully, helping each figure as they needed. Slowly, the chamber brightened, and the figures appeared at peace. The queen's glowing eyes softened as she watched him. "You do not just act, you understand. You do not just solve, you connect. This is rare." Alex felt a deep sense of purpose. He realized that these challenges were not simply tests, but lessons about how to relate to beings, whether human or alien, with honesty and care. Throughout the day, the arena continued to present new challenges. Some tested intelligence, requiring creative solutions to puzzles that changed every time they were looked at. Others tested resilience, placing obstacles in the participants' paths that forced them to adapt quickly. Alex faced each with patience and observation, never letting fear or frustration take control. Other participants grew tired, angry, or overconfident, often failing because they did not understand the deeper purpose of the tests. As the sun began to set, the alien queen paused the challenges. She addressed the participants, her voice echoing with calm authority. "Many of you rely on strength, speed, or cleverness alone. These qualities may help in simple tasks, but true worth comes from understanding, courage, and heart. One human has shown these qualities consistently. Your actions are observed, and your choices matter more than you know." The crowd outside the arena murmured in surprise. Who could the queen be referring to? Alex did not know if she meant him, but he felt a quiet certainty. He had approached each task honestly, without pretending or trying to outshine others. He had relied on patience, empathy, and courage, the qualities the queen had valued from the beginning. He realized that winning would not be about showing off or impressing anyone, but about staying true to himself. This thought brought him comfort, even as he knew the challenges ahead would grow even more difficult. By the end of the day, Alex had completed all tasks successfully, standing out quietly but noticeably among the participants. The queen's glowing eyes lingered on, him observing every movement. He felt a mix of excitement and apprehension, knowing that the next stage of the challenge would be more personal and demanding. The first day had shown that the challenge was not simply about strength or intelligence, but about character. Alex had taken the first step toward surprising everyone, including the alien queen herself. As the city lights flickered on and the crowd slowly dispersed, Alex took a moment to reflect. He had faced the unknown with courage and honesty, and though he was tired, he felt more alive than ever. The journey was only beginning, and he understood that true tests would require even greater focus and understanding. But in that quiet moment, he allowed himself a small smile. He had entered a challenge that seemed impossible, and for the first time, he realized that he might just be capable of something extraordinary. The next day, the atmosphere in the arena had changed. The first round of challenges had tested strength, intelligence, and courage. But now the queen wanted to see something deeper. Alex could sense it in the way the arena shimmered with softer, warmer light, and in the subtle intensity of the queen's gaze. Today's tasks were not about speed, puzzles, or agility. They were about understanding, empathy, and connection. Alex felt both excitement and nervousness. He had done well yesterday, but he knew this would be different. The first part of the day involved a strange and beautiful room filled with floating, glowing orbs. Each orb contained a memory, a feeling, or a story. The queen explained that participants would need to interact with the orbs, understanding the emotions within them and responding in a way that honored their truth. Many contestants immediately tried to solve the task logically. They prodded the orbs, trying to manipulate the emotions inside, or they ignored subtle cues, focusing instead on speed and efficiency. Frustration quickly spread among them. Alex approached the first orb carefully. He observed it quietly, letting it speak to him. He sensed a mixture of joy and sadness, a story of loss and hope intertwined. Instead of rushing to act, he mirrored the emotions, nodding and speaking softly, offering kindness and understanding. The orb glowed brighter, and Alex felt a subtle warmth fill the room. The queen's glowing eyes seemed to linger on him longer than on any other participant. She watched quietly, as though studying how he approached emotions and connection. The second task required the participants to navigate a series of scenarios designed to test empathy. Holographic figures appeared, each presenting a problem or a dilemma. Some were frightened, others confused, and some seemed angry or stubborn. Most participants tried to solve the situations by giving commands or following instructions without truly listening. Their actions often made the figures retreat or become hostile. Alex, however, paused before speaking or moving. He listened carefully to each figure, paying attention not only to their words, but to their expressions, gestures, and tone. When Alex reached a figure who appeared angry, he did not try to confront or argue. Instead, he asked gently about the cause of the frustration and offered a calm response. Slowly, the figure's expression softened, and it allowed him to guide it safely through the scenario. This approach repeated throughout the tasks. Alex did not attempt to impress anyone or complete the scenarios as quickly as possible. He focused on understanding, connecting, and responding honestly. By the end, every figure had been helped successfully, and the queen's gaze seemed almost approving, tinged with curiosity and a hint of surprise. As the day progressed, the challenges became more personal. Participants were shown visions of their deepest fears, regrets, or moments of weakness. They were asked to confront these experiences in order to move forward. Many contestants struggled. Some became defensive, blaming circumstances or others. Some refused to participate fully, fearing what they might see or feel. Alex, on the other hand, embraced the moments. He allowed himself to feel the fear and uncertainty, acknowledging them without judgment. He thought about his past mistakes, the times he had failed or been afraid, and accepted them as part of who he was. The Queen observed closely, testing not only the participants' ability to handle their own emotions, but also their reactions to the emotions of others. A few contestants tried to manipulate the visions, seeking shortcuts or easy solutions. Alex, however, relied on honesty, compassion, and patience. Each step he took reflected an inner understanding that many humans seemed to lack. Slowly, the other participants began to notice. Some were frustrated, unable to grasp why Alex remained calm while they struggled. Others watched quietly, intrigued by the subtle effectiveness of his approach. Midway through the day, a special test was presented. Participants were shown the Queen herself, not as a powerful figure, but as someone vulnerable. Holographic projections displayed moments of her loneliness, isolation, and the pressures of ruling her people across distant worlds. The Queen wanted to see who would respond with empathy rather than fear, arrogance, or awe. Many humans were shocked or intimidated. They laughed nervously, some turned away, and a few attempted to make light of the scenes. Alex, however, looked carefully, noticing the sadness and isolation behind her regal exterior. He spoke gently, acknowledging her feelings, offering understanding without flattery or fear. "You are alone in ways no one else can see," he said softly, "but that does not make you less strong. It shows the depth of your heart and the weight of your responsibilities." The Queen's eyes widened slightly. She had not expected such insight from a human, and certainly not from someone ordinary in appearance. For the first time, she felt a true connection, a sense that someone was looking beyond her power and seeing her as a being with emotions, hopes, and fears. By the end of the day, Alex had distinguished himself not through flashy feats or clever tricks, but through sincerity, patience, and the ability to truly understand both the tasks and the beings within them. The other participants were exhausted and frustrated, unable to match his quiet competence. Observers from outside the arena were beginning to whisper among themselves. Who was this human who remained calm, focused, and genuinely connected while others faltered at every step? The Queen paused the challenges as the arena filled with a soft glow, signaling the end of the day. She addressed all participants with a voice that was both firm and gentle. "Many of you rely on outward appearances, speed, or cleverness to succeed. These qualities may help in simple tests, but true strength is shown through understanding, courage, and the heart." One human has demonstrated these qualities consistently, showing that worth is not measured by physical skill or intellect alone. Her gaze swept over the participants, lingering on Alex, though she did not name him explicitly. Alex felt a mixture of humility and anticipation. He knew he had done his best, but he also knew the Queen's challenges were far from over. Asawa's next stages would be even more personal, testing the limits of his empathy, insight, and ability to connect on a deeper level. For now, however, he allowed himself a moment of quiet reflection. He had discovered that facing challenges honestly with patience and understanding brought a kind of inner strength that impressed even the most powerful beings. As night fell, Alex stepped out of the arena and looked at the city lights. The world outside seemed unchanged, yet everything had shifted. The alien queen had not only challenged humans, but also revealed something profound about connection, trust, and understanding. Alex felt that he was no longer just an ordinary man. He was part of something extraordinary, a journey that could transform not only his life, but also the way humans and aliens might see each other. Though he did not know what tomorrow's challenges would bring, Alex felt ready. He had faced tests of courage, patience, and empathy, and he had emerged stronger and wiser. Most importantly, he had begun to form a subtle connection with the Queen, one that might grow into something far more meaningful than anyone could imagine. And deep down, he sensed that this connection, built on understanding and honesty, would play a key role in surprising everyone, including the Queen herself. The morning of the final day arrived, and the atmosphere in the arena was electric. Word had spread across the city, and countless spectators gathered at a safe distance, eager to see who would succeed in the Alien Queen's challenge. The first rounds had tested strength, courage, and empathy, but today, the final task would be different. The Queen had prepared a challenge that combined every quality Alex had shown so far: intelligence, courage, honesty, and most importantly, heart. Participants were led to a vast chamber that appeared endless, with walls that shimmered like water. At the center of the room floated a large glowing crystal. The Queen's voice echoed through the chamber. "This is the final test. Beyond this crystal lies a choice. You must prove that your actions are guided not by fear, ambition, or pride, but by understanding, empathy, and courage. Only then will you succeed." Many participants looked nervous, glancing at each other and at the Alien Queen. Alex took a deep breath, feeling a calm focus. He had learned through the previous tasks that rushing or trying to impress would not help. The challenge began. Participants had to pass through several illusions designed to tempt, scare, or mislead them. Some illusions promised power, wealth, or recognition if the participants followed a certain path. Others projected fears, failures, and doubts to make them hesitate or give up. Most humans quickly became overwhelmed, choosing paths that promised immediate reward or avoiding paths that triggered fear. Alex, however, observed each illusion carefully. He reminded himself that these were tests of character, not of desire or fear. One illusion projected a scene of his family in danger, demanding he choose between saving them or completing the challenge. Many participants panicked, torn by emotion. Alex felt concern but did not panic. He remembered the lessons he had learned. True courage is acting with clarity and care even in difficult situations. Instead of giving in to fear, he assessed the situation calmly, finding a solution that would protect what mattered while continuing his path. This careful, thoughtful action caused the crystal to glow more brightly, signaling progress. The next set of illusions tested honesty and empathy. Holographic figures appeared, each presenting challenges that required Alex to understand their emotions and act with sincerity. One figure cried for help, while another projected anger and fear. Alex did not attempt to manipulate them or ignore their feelings. Instead, he listened carefully, responded with kindness, and offered support without hesitation. Slowly, he guided each figure safely through the scenarios. The Queen observed silently, her glowing eyes following him with an intensity that made Alex aware of the significance of his actions. As he moved closer to the crystal, the final illusion appeared. It was a reflection of the Alien Queen herself, showing a vision of her as vulnerable, alone, and longing for connection. Many participants were shocked and unsure how to proceed. Some laughed nervously, some tried to ignore it, and some turned back. Alex, however, approached the vision with care. He acknowledged her feelings, offering understanding and respect. "You are strong, yet alone," he said softly. "Your courage and wisdom are clear, but your heart also seeks understanding. I honor that." The crystal's glow intensified until it filled the chamber with brilliant light. The illusions vanished, leaving Alex standing calmly before the real Alien Queen. The other participants had faltered or given up, unable to demonstrate the same combination of qualities. The Queen's eyes widened in surprise. She had expected skill and courage, but had not anticipated the depth of empathy, patience, and understanding a human could show. "You have completed the challenge," the Queen announced, her voice carrying a mix of authority and admiration. The crowd outside erupted in whispers and cheers. Many were astonished that an ordinary human had not only survived, but had excelled where others had failed. Alex felt a rush of disbelief, pride, and humility. He had focused on staying true to himself, and it had brought him to this moment. The Queen stepped closer, her glowing form radiating warmth. "You have proven that true worth is not measured by strength, speed, or cleverness alone," she said. "It is measured by heart, understanding, and courage. You have shown all of these in ways I never expected." Spectators gasped. Her praise was unusual, even for someone of her power. Alex's calm sincerity had impressed her more than any display of force or intellect. The reaction of the Queen shocked everyone further. Instead of a traditional display of victory or dominance, she bowed slightly, acknowledging Alex's accomplishments with genuine respect. The crowd watched silently, unable to fully comprehend the sight. Here was a being of immense power recognizing the value of a single human for qualities that many often overlooked. Alex realized that the challenge had been more than a competition. It had been a revelation showing the potential of humans to act with integrity, empathy, and courage. As the day ended, Alex stood with the Queen, both gazing at the city from the arena. He felt a quiet sense of wonder and purpose. The final task had tested not only his skills, but his character, and in doing so, it had transformed the way he saw himself and the world around him. The Queen, too, seemed transformed, her expression softening as she considered the human who had succeeded where others had failed. After the challenge ended, life changed for both Alex and the alien Queen. The city and the world watched in awe as the Queen's relationship with Alex began to grow. News reports and social media were filled with debates, theories, and excitement. People could not believe that a human had won a challenge designed by such a powerful alien being. Some were skeptical, some admired Alex, and others feared the unknown possibilities of this unique connection. Alex's life was transformed, but he remained humble. He had always valued honesty, courage, and empathy, and he continued to act according to those principles. The Queen, in turn, began to show a side few had ever seen. She was curious, thoughtful, and reflective, learning from Alex's perspective of the world. Their conversations often lasted for hours, exploring ideas, emotions, and experiences from two very different worlds. Through these exchanges, they began to understand one another in ways that were deeply personal. The Queen's people, watching from afar, were also intrigued. They had expected her to choose someone powerful or extraordinary, perhaps even a being from her own planet. Instead, she chose a human, and their surprise reflected not only the unexpectedness of the choice, but also the value they placed on qualities like courage, honesty, and empathy. Alex, despite being ordinary by many standards, had proven that character could shine brighter than power or wealth. Together, Alex and the Queen explored the city and the world, learning about each other's cultures and habits. Alex introduced her to the simple pleasures of human life. Walking in parks, enjoying street food, watching sunsets. She in turn showed Alex glimpses of advanced technology, distant planets, and perspectives far beyond Earth. Their bond grew, not through spectacle or grandeur, but through understanding, patience, and respect for each other's experiences. As time passed, people around the world began to see that this connection was not just a story of victory, but also a lesson. The alien Queen's decision emphasized the importance of inner qualities over external appearances. Alex's courage, empathy, and honesty became an inspiration, showing that humans could rise to extraordinary challenges without extraordinary power. Schools, communities, and even governments began to discuss the lessons learned from his journey. Despite the fame and attention, Alex remained grounded. He continued to approach life with humility, focusing on helping others and learning from every experience. The Queen respected this deeply. She revealed that she had expected fear, pride, or ambition from the participants, but had been surprised by Alex's sincerity and calm wisdom. It was this unexpected quality that made their connection strong and genuine. Over time, the bond between Alex and the Queen deepened into something more profound than friendship or admiration. It was a mutual respect and understanding that transcended worlds, species, and expectations. Together they showed that trust, empathy, and courage could bridge even the greatest divides. The Queen, once perceived as untouchable and fearsome, now revealed her humanity, or the alien equivalent of it, through their shared experiences. The story of Alex's victory and the Queen's reaction became a symbol of hope and possibility. It reminded humans that true worth was not measured by power, fame, or intelligence alone. Courage, honesty, and empathy could triumph in ways no one expected. And for the Queen, Alex represented a reminder that even in a universe filled with power and knowledge, the simplest and most genuine qualities could have the greatest impact. In the end, life on Earth slowly returned to normal, but the memory of the challenge remained vivid. People would speak of it for generations. The day an ordinary human won a challenge set by an alien queen and inspired not just a ruler from another world, but all of humanity. Alex and the Queen continued their journey side by side, exploring, learning, and growing together. Their story became one of courage, understanding, and the extraordinary power of being true to oneself, leaving a lasting impression on both humans and aliens alike.